Shiva Shiva. Shiva Shiva. Shiva Shiva. Durga Durga. Shiva Shiva. Jaya Durga. Jaya Durga. Jaya Durga. Jaya Durga. Durga. Shiva Shiva. Jaya Durga. Jaya Durga. Jaya Durga. Jaya Durga. Durga. Shiva Shiva. Welcome everyone, I'm Sudama. This is our Monday meditation. Today we're going to go into interesting dimension of time and timelessness. Sing some beautiful chants for those who are being harassed by fire and smoke. Right now we just want to send them their blessings, our blessings to them. There's a lot of agitation, social unrest, outrage, anger. Who knows who's feeling all of this stuff, right? Criminal acts, global warming, global weirdness. Perhaps the best thing we can do is just to offer our resonance, offer our peace, come to peace, embody the peace, create a depressurization station so that whatever's not right with the world can exit the system. Let's just take a minute and imagine beautiful H2O, oceans, water energy coming in from the ocean, just blanketing the fire, nourishing the fire, quenching the fire, satisfying the fire. Beautiful water energy. Sending that peace. That good feeling that attracts the healing. Embodying that resonance principle. Radiating it out. Beautiful intention. I was just singing a chant, a Durga chant. I believe it might have been written by David Stringer. Durga rides the tiger. Durga is like a fire woman. She's got an axe. She's ready to chop down what needs to be chopped down. She might as well have a fire hose. So we're just invoking that principle, that feminine power of that comes and takes care of business, right? That deletes the demons, removes the stress. So Durga Ma, Dum Dum Durga Ma. Sort of the warrior goddess aspect of the goddess. I'm just thanking that supreme principle, however you want to understand it. So today, I thought we'd start with, take a moment and notice what experiences in your life, when do you experience timelessness? When does that happen? In dreams, asleep, in meditation, in a movie when you completely lose track of the movie theater. So many examples of when we can experience that phenomenal, timeless, where did the time go experience. Let's just check in with yourself. How do you relate to that experience? Does it make you afraid? Does it make you ecstatic? What's the feeling that goes with timelessness? Is it bliss? It should be. It's flow, when you're on time, in the groove. Time is not an issue. So let's breathe in and just experience however you experience timelessness and apply that to meditation. Meditation is an organic form of time-freeing action. It's a great compassionate act to liberate you from time, ultimately. So let's think about the opposite of timelessness. When does time cause you stress? Always, right? I mean, if you're worried about time, it's causing you stress, right? Anxiety and time pretty much go together. When there's no anxiety, there's no time. No time, anxiety is not the issue. So let's think about how time, when you notice time, that's when it's consolidating. It's becoming like a particle, right? It's becoming denser. You're actually moving in the body towards the acid spectrum, away from the alkaline, away from space, away from spaciousness. So as you concretize into time, that's problematic, right? Now, we can use time to our advantage, obviously. Time is something you can use. It's a tool. But let's say the dark side of time, the light side of time. What is in the middle of these things is water. Why? Water is the supreme pH, this alignment pressure in the body that the body uses to measure against everything, right? Water is pretty steady, right? Water is water. And so that beautiful 7.0, 7.7, somewhere in there, depending on your particular pH, the percentage of the hydrogen, essentially. If there's lots of hydrogen, timelessness, right? As you approach the speed of light, there's no time. There's infinite space, right? So that's the vector. It's going alkaline. Time in your body moves towards the infinite spectrum in an alkaline fashion. So you can say calcium and magnesium assist in timelessness, right? When you relax, that's great. But when time is condensing, crushing itself down into pressure, that's a bad feeling, right? That's pain. So you can release time from your body in meditation. Let's just do that. Let's think in that way for a minute. That's what we're doing. We're just releasing you from time. Whoa. Time free. Someone texted me from Oregon that the smoke is put them in an altered time space, right? Their experience of time has kind of been odd and distorted. So let's go to that 0 point plaza, that place from whence time emerges. Let's say, oh, but Sudama, time just is, it's passing you by, it doesn't emerge. Well, actually, according to quantum physicists, time and space are emergent principles. So this is a little intellectual, but let's just consider this for a minute and then we can relax brain. There's a great physicist named Thomas Bearden, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Bearden. He's the Army physicist that seems to know more about anti-gravity than anybody. And he would put it like this, that time is actually energy. It's compressed spatial energy. And so it is pulled out of the vacuum of you. Right? In other words, literally you give birth to time from your being as you give birth to space, right? So how do you enter this dimension? It comes out of you. Wondrous and mysterious, right? So let's consider this. So time as an emergent property coming out of the void, out of this 0 point place in your being. And when it comes out and freezes, like snapshot, there's particles, it's frozen. That's the particle observation universe, but then time doesn't stop there. Time keeps flowing, time propagates. Time is a propagator. Time is an alligator. That alligator wants to keep propagating, moving through time and space. So infinite instigator. So time keeps expanding out from us. And in ancient India, they describe Maya as actually a principle that it defines itself by just unreeling itself, unrolling itself. It's like unfolds itself out of us. Maya does. Time and space, Maya, time. So that means that our essential nature is timeless, right? So we can go there, experience the time-free zone, and yeah, let's do that. Joy center. Beautiful experience, amazing grace. Your heart, center of all centers. Centripetal forces magnetizing incredible feelings into the 0 point time, space, freedom, right? Free of time and space. While you are time and space, and you're free of time and space. How cool is that? That's the paradox. You need 2 doctors to solve that. Let's breathe. So we're dropping in the timelessness, allowing certain words that help. Releasing, opening, lightening, spacious graciousness. Just feel the spacious graciousness in your chest. Infinite space, 0 time, speed of light. You can just hold that thought-free place. You are there, right? But if thoughts are happening, that's fine. Just let them float. Thoughts are your thalamus's way of taking the speed of light and slowing it down to 200 miles an hour so you can process at that speed, right? But you don't need to do that. Right? You can go 200 miles an hour. Yeah, I thought this thought, then I had the other thought, and that was pretty cool. There's all kinds of thoughts. But that's kind of slow going, right? It's like a detour through some construction area. Much better to go speed of light, maintain that speed of light energy. Don't even run it through your glands. Just expand, right? Liberate. intelligence is in the fields. We run it through the glands, but it's really, you're a transcendental being, right? Your body is just a costume, ultimately, a divine meat package. And that density slows down things, right? The light enters and jams on the brakes, tries to penetrate. Okay, but the lighter we are, the more, call it translucent, the more we meditate, the more the light doesn't have any problem just zinging around at the speed of light in all of our communication systems, which are essentially biophotonic. Scientists know this. Our cells communicate with photons. And so this wondrous dance of the photons is blazing with light, which means somewhere mysteriously in there, there's no time, even though it's happening in time. It's crazy, but that's what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a few assisters to help generate 0 point release time. Relaxed brain. Breathe, relaxing eyeballs and jaw. Relaxing neck and shoulders. Just dropping into the heart. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Good feeling attracting the healing. Speed of light, insight, intuitive systems at play. Enjoy being human. Aliens are jealous. They have no emotional body. Angels can't turn off faucets. This is the place. Your body is the place. Space is the place. Just travel the space wave. There's a raga in India, it's called Raga Yaman. It's the raga that everybody learns first. And it's very mystical because it has a raised fourth. You don't hear it. It just floats. It's that note. So just let the sound carry you for a while. It's a Raga Yaman, it's a heroic raga. We're just sending this out to the heroes out there fighting the fires. Just notice what's going on in your body right now. You might be feeling like a delicious energy circulating that comes from the meditation, comes from the musical entrainment. It smoothens out the particles. Even though I played a lot of notes, there was actually no pulse. It was subtle, but there was no pulse, right? We were not doing real time exactly. It wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We're out of time. It's a phenomenon in Indian music called alap, which is a spacious beginning. They say that the face of the raga is the face of a beautiful woman. And so the artist is slowly drawing in these little bits of the face, so you start to see, oh look, wow, right? You start to see this form unfold as the music begins to penetrate into the different improvisatory raga structures. So let's just drop back in again. Just noticing the difference between time and no time in your body. Okay, suddenly, oh, I have to go. Okay, all of a sudden, then it's like, oh, right, time is disruptive. Time becomes a thing, right? You have to be somewhere at that time. Who says? Well, somebody. So you've decided this. You've made this agreement with time. But even when you're rushing in time, we can be in timelessness, right? That's the beauty of the deep state, just depending on how much we're accessing it. So let's try that for a moment. Here we are in time, talking, at least I am. And so you're engaging with time, but there's also this feeling inside that is transcendental, that it's hard to grasp it. It's an interesting phenomenon. You're just feeling that rangy non-time thing in you. It's like, why do we know this so well? Well, every night we come to this stasis. We come to this place. We go in the black hole of sleep, and time disappears completely. Except there's this being in there watching. You could say this being knows everything, whoever this wondrous divine being is, this aspect of you, and it reports back in the morning, hey, you had 3 dreams, you were asleep for 6.5 hours. Oh, thanks. All right, there was a calibrator in there. Your brain clock was assisting also. So let's relax the brain clock for a minute. Go beyond the circadian rhythm master, beyond the planets, into 0 point time. Zero point, meaning infinite space, no time. The good news on the planet is that lots of countries are developing 0 point energy that's been hidden, been not allowed to penetrate through the algorithms of current law and politics. So what this 0 point energy is, it's been developed in countries you never believe are developing it. And this greater than unity systems where you get more energy out than you put in. All right, that sounds different than this level usually, right? You put out more energy, get less back. But in the 0 point plaza, everybody wins, there's free energy. So the folks that make a lot of money on this aren't going to be very happy about, at least the other kind of energy, but I believe this is the future. It's going to be happening soon. This might be what saves us in various forms. So, but let's find that in ourselves at the moment, because that's just a copy of us, right? The sun is doing fusion in our body. We are creating realities. We're creating the entire atomic table. It's blinking on and off. We're vibrating in this rotating toroidal field of divine consciousness. And usually our brain is like somehow gotten all tangled up in a few crazy things, right? And kind of forget about this miracle that's going on. So meditation is really the best pathway back to relishing the miracle of yourself. So let's just do that, just relishing the miracle. Wow. Again, where thoughts might be slowing down at 200 miles an hour to occupy your need for social media, your inner social media, you're gonna throw that phone out for now, and we're just gonna like relax brain, 0 point plaza, just pure flow, pure beingness. Forget about thinking right now. Just pure intuitive insight. Delicious, radiant energy. You are the ocean of consciousness. Let's bask in the glow. Here we go. If you sit long enough, all these little freak shows going on in our brain kind of settle down, and the egoic energies, the resentments, the processing of the past, the worrying about the future, this is all just vibrating kind of in the front. And so meditation is like a way of sitting in the back of the movie theater. Ultimately, you kind of move to the back and give it some space. That feels much better usually. It's hard to sit in the front row of a movie theater. And then we notice there's all this lightness, just spacious graciousness, one of my favorite phrases for this. If you weren't made out of that, there's no way you could be experiencing it. You'd just be chaos incarnate, right? So, but you're not, right? You're this fountain of bliss, ultimately, if you can access it. So we're just dropping into this vagus nerve fountain. Connects to the right brain, very spatial, very geomorphic, accommodates reality as an experience more than some kind of meaningful idea about reality. That's more left brain. Well, let's say this, that the old style psychotherapy was all about analyzing your subconscious mind, trying to squeeze some meaning out of the past. I mean, that could work for some stuff, but I think Jung and the archetypal psychologists, James Hillman, these folks that followed, read Jung correctly and saying, look, it's really more about healing your soul, right? Getting your soul back in that place where you're not a zombie, where you're not a conformist, where you're into the creative expansion of your imagination, right? You're just pure imaginative grace, because that is possible, rather than just like limiting yourself, isolating yourself down to some kind of robotic concern. So it wants you to be fully alive, right? Which is to engage not just your unconscious mind, but this superconscious mind, active imagination. And it's not there just to give you like a fantasy trip or, make a few new products. That's cool too. But it's really to, I think, how does he phrase it? It'll come to me in a minute. I have it written down somewhere. It's just a beautifully phrased. Let's see. Well, Jung says that biography is an imaginative act, right? I'm still looking for this other phrase. It will show up. whole biography is your creation, right? Which thoughts you choose to relish, accent, which colors you, sort of like a Facebook page, but way better, right? Your soul is rich. Let's just bask in the soul glow. That's not usually the invitation of the world. Usually the world wants you to do something or to use you for something, right? But just feel your glow, feel this, relish your unique divine radiance in this moment. Where did the time go? Breathing. Time is deliciously non-linear, even though I believe our culture likes to see it in a linear way, right? It sort of goes like a straight arrow into the future, but ancient cultures didn't see it that way. Ancient cultures saw it as a circle, right? It was a regenerative thing. They recreated creation every time they did their magic rituals. And so time would be reborn every month or every year. That's what these ancient solstice ceremonies are, essentially. Right? They're, in the Vedas, for example, they burn the brick bird, and then that comes to symbolize the cosmic man, right? This Purusha, and then that becomes a social signifier where the Brahmins are the head and the merchant class is the arms, and then the people who are trod upon, the Shudras, are down on the feet. And so that kind of becomes a kind of distorted social, cultural thing, but that's maybe thousands of years after, or at least in how they played it out. But the idea is that these rituals were literally rebirthing the universe in the course of the ritual, right? So whatever reality was before was gone, and now they've regenerated it, and here we are. Now, the interesting thought is that your body's doing that every second, right? Planck time is blinking on and off, kind of like a yagna ritual, recreating the universe faster than you could ever imagine. And so our experience of time is really, according to the quantum physicists, a succession of sort of discontinuities somehow grokked as a continuity. Like we think it's continuous. We experience it as continuous when in fact it's difficult, right? But that would say how amazing it is that your mind can create a movie, can create a spell that completely hooks you, right? So, breathing. Let's go back to the musical domain. Our meditation is relax the strings. Okay, so in India there's a goddess Sarasvati, and Saras means the flow. So it seems like it's just the perfect, well, I'm tilting my head to see Ganesh there. Ganesh is very good for removing obstacles for people in distress. But we're also going to be adding the water element some more. Sarasvati, goddess of rivers, goddess of the flow. Never hurts to invoke these principles, these amazing forces in the universe. They're rendered as goddesses, but they're probably something way more profound than we could ever imagine. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma. So soft and tender whenever we send her love, full of surrender whenever there's no end to love. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma. So soft and tender whenever we send her love. Full of surrender whenever we send in love. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma. You wanna just hum along. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Mother of the ocean, mother of the sea, Sarasvati, mother me. Mother of the ocean, mother of the sea, Sarasvati, mother me. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai 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 Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai. So soft and tender whenever we send in love. Full of surrender whenever we send in the wisdom, the light. So this is all very good for meditation, but how about you're out there in the world? How can you apply some of what we've been doing today in the time domain? How about this? Time is change, obviously, right? And every problem we have is due to some kind of changing situation. But you could look at it as a problem, right? Or you could see it as an opportunity for the solution. But what's the other problem is that not everything in the system changes at the same speed. So there's groups of people who are left behind, or these people didn't get paid enough, or the change affects some people, but not those people. That's the problem, right? That's the friction in the system. So there's always going to be lagging systems, right? Lagging dragon systems causing us stress. That's kind of like the mind thinking about the past, right? Obsessing with wish-a, woulda, coulda kind of stuff. Not helpful. So let's just releasing the past completely and totally. Chew on it later if you need it, but right now we'll just off to the black hole Club Med it goes. Matter of fact, we'll take The History of Time. I'm sure it's a great book. I'm sure it has all kinds of goodies, but it looks totally left brain. So for our purposes today, let's stay in the right brain. Don't worry about the history of time. Don't worry about history. Don't even worry about time. Let's just go to beyond time. That experience, which is always there, beyond time. Accessible in time, anytime. Don't you love language? And so from that equation of time equals change / opportunity leads to some solution. Let's say success in this regard is like a function of this changing thing divided by your capability ultimately, right? How capable are you at handling the changing circumstances? So that's kind of the function of success, right? It's like changing time over capability. So let's check in with yourself for that. Feel your capabilities. Your success is based on who you are, right? Like, remember when I saw Tom Hanks back in the 80s in that movie Splash. I knew that guy was going to be famous after that. It was just, he was going to unleash, right? I could just see it, right? Success was already in this person, right? You didn't have to go do it. It's just already there. So let's use that analogy. You already are successful, right? You have this capacity to, right, divide your capability into the situation. So let's say success is a feeling from this point of view. You can see someone was liking the sitar, but it's sort of gone into the above part. So thank you for enjoying the sitar music. I enjoyed it myself. it takes me to another place too. It sort of ends up playing you and me. It's just, it's all music, right? Matter of fact, since I said that, that may be one of the most amazing thoughts to get you through any situation, actually. And this is my personal opinion, that if you see it all as music, even strange stuff isn't so strange, right? It's beautiful, actually sounds cool, right? Matter of fact, some of the great sax players and trumpet players, if you ask them like, well, what's music? Well, they'll like take a squirt tube and go say, oh, that's music too, right? Check that sound out, right? I can't get that on my bass. So all these sounds, we're accustomed to associating music with a certain kind of orchestration, a certain kind of, band sound. But I don't know, you've all sat by a lake and a mountain and just gone, man, that's better than the New York Symphonic Orchestra, right? There's nothing like it. So the universe as music in time with your biorhythms. Right, so you have your own time signature, you have your own beat, you have your own groove. It's a function of your heartbeat, which is actually a function of your breath, which is a function of your consciousness, which is a function of your situation. Who knows where it begins, but there's a pulse that moves through our life, and we kind of groove with that. Different times, right? You might want to beat your head against the wall with heavy metal music. It's not my particular favorite thing to do, but there's people that get a lot of pleasure out of that. You never know what music's going to vibrate with a person, right? So that's why I try to vibrate with call it the lowest common denominator, not in a negative way, but in a steady state way. Because it's hard not to like that. I mean, it might bother some people, it's a little buzzy. But it's pure bliss, right? It's a swirling, whirling cascade of vibration. That's kind of like us. A whirling dervish of spinning stuff. And so what does meditation do? It kind of brings you out of your dizzying, spinning thing into this midline of Doesn't that feel good? Just to say, So let's just float there. We've really worked timelessness for a while today. Just like enjoy its residuals. Enjoy the sweet afterglow. That's my favorite part of meditation and chanting is afterwards. You walk around like, ooh, right? You're suddenly, your consciousness is expanded. Things aren't bothering you at all. Everything's kind of crispy little critters. Everything's very, you can do stuff you just couldn't do before, right? You look in the mirror, you look fabulous, right? Because you're now expanded, right? You're not like a walking contraction of compressed time, right? You've released the time signature in your body from its heavy metal, like lockdown, and released it into the alkaline universe of your feeling tone, of your expression, of your beingness. Time is a wave, right? It's a propagation. And like we said, I'll just get one more specific thought about Thomas Bearden's way of understanding what he calls the cycle of negentropy. It's not something I've heard before, except in this particular book called Energy from the Vacuum by Thomas Bearden. It's about this thick, and it's really hard to find, but he explains all the different ways we've tried to extract energy from the vacuum. And the way he understands time is that there's a time domain in this active vacuum state that is here right now, right? You are active vacuum potential incarnate, right? You're bioplasma vibrating, and it looks like there's stuff everywhere, but it's actually a vacuum with high-speed gas particles, woo, and you're mostly empty space, right? So in this amazing active vacuum, virtual vacuum that you are, time and space emerge as this highly concentrated waves that come out, right? And they propagate out, and it's almost like you're turning on your computer, right? It's zero, it's not there, and then whoop, the screen boots up. So literally, you kind of boot up. That's what's going on, right? So let's just ponder that for a minute, right? Your body every morning boots up from the 0 point. You come out of this black hole. You come out of this place with no time at all, right? Where were you when you were asleep? And then you climb out of this like swamp of nothing, and then it's like, whoa, there's not much in your brain except the Supreme Self, which is why it's a great time to meditate in the early morning, because the world is not come in and kind of contaminated you yet. So that's beautiful, fresh time. Speaking of time, when's a good time to meditate? We can do that. I like the late night sometimes. There's something about when the world has come to a standstill and there's just a bazillion stars out and you get as big as the universe, right? That's a beautiful time to meditate. My guru used to recommend midnight as well. But in India, the Brahma Muhurta is the special time between 3 and 5 in the morning. Great time to meditate because basically certain functions that are happening in your body are eliminating things at that point. And you can experience kind of this release, right? As you meditate, your body is ridding itself of toxins. And kind of that's what the meditation is doing as well, ridding yourself of psychic toxins. So that's a good time to meditate. Also, twilight and dusk. Why? Because that's when the Kundalini enters the Sushumna, evidently. And I could vouch for that, right? Experience that when suddenly, right, your rods and cones are changing over and there's sort of this magical effect in the air as the twilight kicks in and you literally shift to a different state in your body, and all sorts of glands and organs are assisting in that, especially Sri Ma Kundalini, who delightfully enters this Sushumna and rises up to fill you with life. So we thank this wondrousness, and we breathe. That's a lot of information, folks. I hope it wasn't overwhelming, but hopefully we've been translating it in really fun ways to make it accessible, make it comprehensible, make it doable in some form, apply it to reality, not just wild fun concepts. So let's take everything we've done today and we're just relaxing down. We're signing off shortly here, just breathing. Notice that you're noticing the Supreme Self is very subtle, more subtle than your breath, and your breath is hard enough to notice. So this Supreme Energy is even harder to notice, but we can do it. Meditation is the access code, application, corridor, portal to the Supreme I Am. Direct connect to the source of the force. Here's a couple of newbies you might like here. Look at the reality you got not the reality that's not. Right? Don't fool yourself. Not right or wrong, but weak or strong. Right? Don't waste time arguing with people. Just feel strong, right? If you're weak. And the last one, make your problem not your focus. So if you have some issue, don't obsess with it, right? Don't keep adding to it. Just say, not now, right? Don't focus on it. Focus on what you love. Right? It's so much easier. Om Namah Shivaya. My YouTube channel is actively expanding. These meditations are placed there, so I invite you to go and subscribe and click on whatever you need to click and enjoy what's there. There's lots of beautiful meditations from the past. There's explanations on certain healing situations that are also on my website, sudama.com. So I invite you to, if you need a private session, that's what I do best, right over the phone. I've been doing it for 20 years. I hope you enjoyed the meditation today. Namaste, everyone. Namaste. I love you. Thank you.